What's up everybody, welcome back to Raid Rush. Today we are going to be using and raiding all of the Halloween weapons that were added. There were 4 Halloween weapons that were added. I'll just kind of scroll through them in case you guys wanted to see the passives, stats, whatever I had, the enchant. I haven't optimized any of these, keep that in mind. So I might rate something above what it should be because it has better stats, and it just be crazy because I got a crazy lucky drop or something. But anyways, let me just finish scrolling. This one's like the worst one I got by far. But I'll try and rate them considering their stat bonuses. Alright, if you wanted to read any of that, pause. Sorry if I scrolled out a little bit fast. Let's go right into the fight where I will then start describing how good the weapon is. Alright, Sanguinity. There's only one thing I have to say about this. I love it. It's the best thing ever. It really just feels like a conspiracy, but if it was different, like instead of giving buffs, it was focused more on healing. And also it's red. Like as long as the weapon is red, I'll probably use it. I'm gonna be real, I'm biased. And not only that, but this thing gives you crazy healing. Every 10 seconds, you heal 40 HP. If you were to hit somebody with this, you give them blood pack, which what that does is whenever that person gets healed, you get healed too. And when you get healed, the person with blood pack also get healed. So if you get into a big lobby and hit like 5 people with this, and somebody heals, you're just gonna stay at full HP. The only way you're gonna die is if you get anti-healing. That's really all I have to say about this. Enjoy the rest of the fight. I really like this weapon. On the trick or treat here, this is a pretty interesting weapon as it relies on you getting hits to spawn in candy corn and then you eat the candy corn. Now this thing, it is busted, I'm gonna be honest. Once you get to the half point of the boss fight, if you have once you eat enough candy corn, you just become immortal. You're gonna get hit, you're gonna take like 3 damage. Additionally, whenever you eat candy corn, you get a random buff, to a random stat, and that buff does not go away. Nope, it stays for you with the entire fight. Now, if you do get a debuff, that does stick with you too. You need to eat like 12 candy corn to get rid of the debuff effect. But that doesn't matter. You get immunity to debuff so fast with this. This thing is crazy. I'm gonna rate all of these at the end. Enjoy the rest of the fight. Third weapon that I'm going to be recording is the Hauntfork. This thing is both a support and a DPS weapon, I would say. You grant other people who are caught in your attack a speed boost, which could be really good if somebody's using Trick or Treat, but as well, whenever you deal damage, you get a stack, and that stack, what it does is, if you were to get hits from an enemy who's far away from you, it consumes all of your stats and damages the enemy a whole bunch, which can rack up some crazy DPS. Now this thing, I'd say is pretty decent. It's a pretty simple mechanic, but it does quite a lot. Additionally, you do get a buff at the start of the fight for the first 40 seconds that I'm pretty sure it boosts your stamina regen, which it does not need to do that, I'll be honest. This thing is already strong. But enjoy the rest of the fight. the final weapon I'm ranking, the Phantophasia. This thing is a little bit complicated, as it's a summoner weapon, meaning you have to keep track of how many little guys you place down on the field, and that can be really hard when you're trying to dodge. So, if you're good at the game, I recommend this weapon, because it's definitely the best out of the 4. Now this thing, if you attack, you summon a little guy. What does this little guy do? He goes up to the nearest enemy and he whacks him. And then he whacks him again, over and over, until he dies. And when he dies, he explodes into a blast of poison, which is really strong. It also inflicts vulnerable, which is crazy, considering this thing already does good damage. Additionally, whenever you attack with 90 energy, you will give all of your summons a frame of 1 second of immunity, so you can make them quote-unquote dodge attacks, which I think is pretty cool. It's a really decent weapon. You do need to be above 25 health to actually summon, so do keep that in mind. Once we finish this, I'll rank all the weapons on a tier list and talk about them a little bit more. Alright, it's tier list time. Let's start with the Sanguinity, because I recorded that one first. This thing is really good. The only problem with this thing, I would say, is that it has, like, a really low frame. You really have to hit something in order to actually damage it, unlike the other weapons. Though, I'd say it makes up for that with range. Additionally, the healing is crazy on it. You can also support your allies with health. So I would honestly put this in an S tier. I mean, you could just say I'm biased because it's a red weapon, and I would agree. But the healing on this is just kind of crazy, I'm gonna be honest. Now, I don't really have anything else to say about this. I do wish that its attack was a little bit wider. It's sometimes hard to hit things like summons. But moving on, let's go with the Trick and Treat next. This thing is a little bit iffy. You need to eat a whole bunch of candy corn in order to get good. So you're gonna spawn, attack 4 times. Yes, this thing, you can attack 4 times at once with this weapon, which is really good. But you're spending the whole fight just picking up candy corn, and that can get kind of boring. Especially since you don't even have to dodge at the end. You're just kind of sitting there, whacking the boss, hoping that you don't run out of time. And you're not even that strong until you pick up all the candy corn. Still, you get infinite dashes with this thing. Your dashing does not consume stamina, so for that only, and for that and only that, I'm gonna have to put this thing in A tier. Crazy health, crazy survivability. You do have to be close, but you can dash infinitely, so you can easily get to them. Now, the next thing, the Hauntfork. This thing, I'll put it in S tier. I'd say this is like the second strongest thing in this event. This thing, you hit somebody with a speed boost. They're now fast, which is going to combo with Trick and Treat, allow them to hit more. And other than that, it's just kind of a cool mechanic. You gotta hit in order to build stacks, and you're going to have to get hit, figure out what does the least amount of damage, so that you can get hit by that, and then deal a whole bunch of damage to the boss. Really good. Definitely an A tier. The final thing, the Phantophasia. Now, I didn't really use this thing correctly, I don't think. I'm pretty sure the main attack also does damage itself. And it also has terrible stats. Look at those. Those are awful. So, it's clearly not doing as much damage as it should. It has crazy stats. I would put it in S tier. Well, it is if you can focus, but you also have to keep an eye on all of your little summons, make sure they don't die, or also make sure they do die when you want so you can apply vulnerable, which can get a little bit complicated, a little bit hard to dodge. Additionally, you don't really have the stamina to even dash with this thing. It's heavy in stamina consumption, and for that, I'm gonna put it in A tier, but this thing definitely has the most damage out of the 4. Anyways, thank you for watching if you did. That was the tier list. Happy Halloween. I'll see you guys next time.